and then we'll go and see if it is the perfect option for a filmmaker in 2020.
This one is definitely a step up from what I was used to.
Hello and welcome to Media Academy Online. Today, technology is getting better and better, and so many filmmakers have a lot of options available to them. The equipment and possibilities people have these days is incredible. And equally, you've probably heard so many people talk about the power of the phone that's in your pocket. In this video, let's go and see if that's true. I've recently purchased this, the iPhone 12 Pro. And in this video, we're actually going to see if a phone like this actually holds enough power to be a filmmaker's best friend. Now, first of all, just by looking at it, you can see that the packaging has become a lot smaller. So let's open it up and have a look. And there it is. I got the Pacific Blue version, so it's got a sort of a grey-blue tinge to it, so it's quite a nice colour there. And we can see they've got the 3 different types of lenses there, along with the LiDAR and the flash. So let's pull him out and have a look. And if I pull out my old phone, we can see there's quite a difference. I've got the iPhone 10 here, so it's quite a few years old now, and then we've got the 12 here. So we can see they're a very similar size. The iPhone 12 Pro is a little bit bigger. I actually find that holding the iPhone 12 Pro it's got a good grip to it. So I think that is a much more successful design. In this box, we can see we've got all their paperwork that no one's ever gonna read and a sticker. Only one sticker this time. Don't need those, we'll put those aside. And then there is the notorious charger. Now that is what has annoyed a lot of people, and it is an extra payment, an extra step that people have to consider, which is very anti-Apple, but what can we do? So if you're not sure, Apple have decided not to sell any charging bricks in their box anymore, and that's why it's so thin. Instead, they're going to just give us this one charger. They're saying it's for the environment, which, okay, I can understand that. But they've decided to give us a USB-C charging cord rather than a USB-A charging cord. No one really has these charging cords, especially if you had a past Apple, except for the iPhone 11, you won't have one of these chargers. So I'm going to have to go out and buy one of these chargers. So Apple, you dropped the ball on that one. Other than that, this is the phone here. So my goal is to go and test it in a few scenarios, go through the motions as a filmmaker, and actually see if this can pull off the perfect option for filmmakers starting out. So let's turn it on and have a look at it. Oh, hello. I'll go ahead and set this guy up, and then we'll go and see what sort of footage we can get out of this guy, and if it is the perfect option for a filmmaker in 2020. So this first test is using the default camera app, with all settings set to automatic. As you can see, it's really struggling here, and you can see a lot of noise. The different light sources and the different color temperatures is clearly throwing it out. And looking closer, we can see that is just a noise fest, and the visual noise has taken over the scene. I then switched to Filmic Pro that gives me all of the manual settings I need, and we can see that it is a lot clearer, and there is not as much noise. It has less difficulty with the different color temperatures, and the amount of noise, even though it's there, is a lot less. If we compare the two, we can see that the default camera app on auto settings is really having issues compared to the Filmic Pro on manual settings. Looking at the Filmic Pro app, we can see that it has a lot more functionality, and it gives us a lot more control of the scene. Now let's try a low light scene, with the only light in the room coming from the TV. Again, we can see that horrible noise, and the scene is really struggling to keep up with the changes in light. When we try it on the ultra-wide lens, again, we can still see this noise is prevalent. And then here's with the zoom lens. I then switched it to Filmic Pro, which does remove some of that noise, but the colors in the TV are way off and would need some work to get it looking correct. But when we switch to daylight, we can see most of those issues has disappeared. Next, I played with the focus using the Filmic Pro app. We can see it picks up so much detail on this cushion, and that I can easily manually control the focus. When it's on the default camera app, we can see it's struggling to discern the skin tones correctly, especially in this shot, which is a little bit overlit. We can see that he's very muddy and washed out. Switching back to Filmic Pro, we can see the colors are back to normal, and that we can get quite a nice image out of this camera without losing any of the details. Now before we continue, let's just take a minute to smash that like button Great, with that done, let's continue.
Yeah, I hadn't had much experience with the past iPhone, so this one is definitely, a step up from what I was used to. Yeah, I mean, especially for something that's always in your pocket, that you've always got easy access to if you can afford it. You could quickly just grab it out of your pocket and film some good stuff. Even artists, when they're drawing and doing time lapses, and just whip this out and get some really, really cool footage, uploaded it to the socials, and especially photographers as well. Amateurs to pro level even, it's such a handy little device to have along with all your other bits and pieces and other cameras. You can have the whole lot of them, and I'm sure this has its little place amongst it all.
Next up is to test the slow motion. Now when you ramp up the slow motion to 240 frames per second, first of all it's in only HD and we lose a lot of the sharpness and detail. But now it's time to actually make a scene using just this camera. So me and Brandon spent a little bit of time creating a small scene to test out the capabilities of this camera. So that was the iPhone 12 Pro, and as you can see, this little phone that has a lot of functionality other than filming video actually does hold quite a grunt, especially if you're starting out. Now, does this mean I'm going to switch to this? No. This is a perfect on-the-go camera, so you can pull it out and film, record, do whatever you need to do when you're out and about. It is great for what it is, but it'll never take the place of a camera such as the Red, Blackmagic, Canon, or any of these other cameras that have raw footage in it that holds all the details. These cameras are great because they're getting smarter and smarter and can make a lot of decisions for you, but I would still like to have those decisions made myself in a fantastic raw image that gives me all the control and functionality I need. So with that said, if you're into filmmaking and the whole filmmaking space, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And with that said, I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching Mini Academy Online. If you'd like to explore more about content, click on this or click on that. Like and subscribe, thumbs up, ring bells, do a dance, sing a song, drink a hot cup of tea or coffee, and I'll see you in the next one.